What's up, everyone? What's going on? This is my fourth post-game show from Levi's Stadium this season, and the first time I'm covering a win. I can't freaking believe it. I have all the big topics to get through. Jimmy, Shanny, Saleh, Hasty, Mostert, Verrett, all these guys. And I want to go through and just heap praise on everyone, starting with Jimmy. But before I get to Jimmy, I want to praise the MVP of this game. I want to praise the person who was most responsible for the 49ers beating the Rams. And that person is me. I was just on my game this week in a way that I've never been. I was in the zone. And the thing about what I did that was so impressive was that it wasn't just today. It was an entire week of preparation. And it was the whole gamut from psychological leadership, motivation, and game planning. It started off calling out Mike McGlinchey and Trent Williams. They needed to hear it. No one was holding them accountable, so I did it. I stepped up and let them know that they were both playing like crap. They got the picture, and the stars of the game tonight were the offensive linemen. So I pressed the right psychological buttons with those guys. Also, I got the CEO of the team to sit in his high chair like a good boy and watch the entire game without throwing a fit or making a mess. That's pretty good. So I got the two offensive tackle bookends to step their game up. I got the leader of the franchise to sit in his seat and have his team's back. And then after all of that, I mean, had I just done that, Dayenu, as the Jews would say. Had I just done that, it would have been enough. But I didn't stop there. No. Because I'm more than just a motivator. I'm not just a motivational speaker. I'm not just a big picture guy. I also get into the nitty gritty. I could be a coordinator too. In fact, I am the coordinator basically. So I told Shanahan all week, look, this is how you're going to win the game. If you come out and you call a pass in the first play, you're going to lose. If you come out and you're in the shotgun the first play, you don't have confidence in your identity, you're going to lose. You need to establish your identity off the bat. He did it. He followed my game plan to a T. I went on YouTube Live an hour before the game. Shanahan was in the locker room. Clearly, he pulled out his phone, watched what I had to say, listened to all the great expert points I made, and followed my game plan to a T. So I got the offensive line to play better. I got the CEO to sit down, and I gave the head coach his game plan, all for free. Last week, when the Niners lost to the Dolphins, I flipped out a little bit, and I said, I'm working so hard to coach this team, and I'm getting no credit. If they want me to take control, because no one else has taken control, I needed to take control. If you want me to take control and really coach this team, you got to hire me, pay me. So surprisingly, they didn't hire me. I'm still not on the 49ers payroll or in their coaching staff. So I did this one pro bono. They owe me. They owe me a nickel. I'll take it in a check. They owe me 5 cents. They're welcome to make me quality control coach, coordinator of common sense. I mean, how can they afford not to have me on the staff when I am simultaneously the head coach, offensive coordinator, owner, and quarterback, and therapist, and general manager? So really, I want to say it was a very humbling experience for me tonight, being so good and being the reason the Niners won a game and really saving the Niners season. I'm not even on the Niners. I don't even root for them. I just something I did, out of the goodness of my heart. It was a mitzvah, as the Jews would say. So I just did a mitzvah. You're welcome. Will I do it next week? I don't know. Well, I don't know if I feel like it. Hire me. All right, now let's praise Jimmy Garoppolo. It was a very interesting performance from Jimmy because before the game, I framed it as, look, in 3 hours, Jimmy's either going to be on a Greyhound out of town, going past Vallejo on 80, like through Reno to Salt Lake City, like mentally out. Or he was going to quiet the naysayers and reestablish himself as the unquestioned franchise quarterback on the 49ers. He did neither, which is interesting. Like, no one's saying bench Jimmy, trade Jimmy. Like, he did enough for Niner fans to be like, all right, okay, that looked like last year. We can do this. But when you really are honest with what Jimmy did tonight, it's the same quarterback he was last week. and the same quarterback he was week 1, which is not a bad quarterback. He just had a much better game plan from his coach. I don't know what those game plans were the first couple of weeks, and we'll get to Shanahan later. This one was good. This one was like most of the game plans they had last year. Jimmy thrived. So, in a sense, it's like, well, he's not as bad as he looked earlier. That's good. But I don't think he's as good as his box score looks today. I think he's been the same quarterback all year, and Shanahan's been doing him no favors. And today, Shanahan did him a bunch of favors, and he played well. A lot of those shovel passes, I mean, you can't really give him credit for that. Screen passes, all right. He made a nice pass on 4th and 2, hitting Kittle over the middle for about 11 yards, and Kittle ran the rest of the way. He took a hit. He made nice plays. But the thing about Jimmy in this game was like, he still isn't 100% healthy or 100% confident. Like, he's working back from almost rock bottom. So he's not going to light it up and play the way he played against New Orleans last year for a while. He's got to build up to that. And so he's not at his best, but he still won the game. He played winning football. He didn't turn the ball over. He avoided sacks. When the game was on the line, he had a 6-yard scramble and dove forward, lowered his shoulder to get the yards to get the field goal. So it wasn't a flashy game. His numbers don't really reflect what he did, but he won it. A lot of quarterbacks would have panicked and blown this game. Jimmy didn't. You know, Jimmy doesn't always seem confident. He doesn't always seem healthy, but he is starting to seem much more mature, except for those 2 interceptions he had against the Dolphins. But again, I don't really blame him. I don't blame Jimmy for the performance against the Dolphins. I think that was a combination of Jimmy and Kyle. And today, again, a combination of Jimmy and Kyle. So good for Jimmy. It bodes well for the rest of the season because the Niners are still alive. They have their quarterback. They have their confidence and they have momentum. They can go places. They could be 4-3 after next week. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this was big for Jimmy. He hasn't established himself that he's going to definitely be the quarterback next year. I told you before the game, like, hey, the conversation we have after the game is who's going to be the quarterback on the Niners in 2021. We're not having that conversation, but I still think it's a conversation. Jimmy hasn't established that he's definitely the guy. Like, look at how he played tonight. You feel like, okay, like, we know Jimmy can beat the Rams. He's done it 3 times in a row. Do we know that type of play can win a Super Bowl? I don't know. Is that play worth $27 million a year? Surely not. But again, coming off an injury, what he's done so far this year, coming off the Super Bowl loss and how everything was dumped on him, it's a nice step in the right direction, and you would expect him to build on it going forward the rest of the year. I think this should be the start of a promising trend of improvement for Jimmy Garoppolo. You could look at this as preseason for him. He's a slow starter. He struggles early in the season. He didn't get going last week until about week 7 or week 8, and that was with a full off season. Maybe he's going to hit his stride, and he's getting a lot of his players healthy on offense too. So, I mean, it's fair to be like, look, man, this wasn't the greatest game ever for a quarterback. I mean, like 3/4 of his yards or more were yards after the catch, and that's true. Like, I wouldn't give Jimmy an A+ or even an A for this performance, but it's a solid B coming off a guy who looked like, dude, do you still want to play football? Like, can you still protect yourself? Can you still make it through a game? Because he hadn't made it through his last 2 starts. His last 2 starts, he left at halftime. So this was a big step for him. And it's like, I don't think we needed to see him throw bombs away, difficult passes. I don't think he made a difficult pass all game. Fine. Who cares? Who cares? Win the game. He did it. Build some confidence. Play better next week. I'm not going to go overboard with his grade, but again, basically what Jimmy Garoppolo had tonight was a binary grading system, a 1 or a 0. You do or you don't. And he did. He freaking did. And I don't know CJ wouldn't have. Brian Hoyer wouldn't have. You know? So Jimmy did. Jimmy, still the winner that we think of him as. So good for Jimmy. Let's get to Shanahan. Because Shanahan was the star of the offense. I mean, he made Jimmy Garoppolo It was like last year we said the training wheels were on Jimmy Garoppolo. There were like 8,000 training wheels on that guy today. I mean, he made it through the first quarter without throwing a ball more than 4 yards past the line of scrimmage. It was shovel pass, screen pass, 3-yard pass. Like, wow. When Kyle Shanahan is motivated and people aren't calling him the greatest coach in the world and he actually has something to prove and people say, hey, man, maybe he's not that good. Maybe he's overrated. Maybe we jumped the gun on Kyle Shanahan. All of a sudden, he's like, all right, let me show you what I'm made of. And he comes out with like 8,000 different screens. Like, where was that? Where was that last week? How did you not have that game plan last week? How did you not have that game plan against the Eagles when your quarterback was Nick Mullins? I mean, in a lot of ways, like Jimmy Garoppolo had the deep throw to Kyle Juszczyk, missed it. You know, it's not as easy of a throw as you think, even though the guy's wide open and is not that far down the field. The difference was there were like 9 called shovel passes and like 1,000 screens. Shanahan can do that whenever he wants. He can win with lots of quarterbacks. It's impressive to see him do it. And I come away from this game and it's like, clearly he followed my game plan. So I give myself a lot of credit. And maybe I should have been more forceful in the past, letting him know, dude, this is what you got to do. But if he would call every game like this, would the Niners ever lose? If he had come into every game this season with this game plan, and it's nothing that outrageous. I mean, it's like establish the running game, stick with your identity, don't go to offense B right away. If they had done that, they'd be 5-0. They wouldn't have lost to the Cardinals. They wouldn't have lost to the Eagles. They wouldn't have lost to the Dolphins. Furthermore, had they used this common sense game plan, it's not even a game plan. It's like, just stick with your identity and call the stuff that works. Had they done that in the second half of the Super Bowl, they'd be champions. If Shanahan had done that in the second half of the first Super Bowl he was in, he'd be a 2-time champion. It's amazing, like how good Kyle Shanahan can be when you put pressure on him. He should be a 2-time champion right now because he can do this. The issue with him is like, why don't you do it all the time? Why? It's like he has self-destructive tendencies. The only person that shuts him down is him. And there's certain games where it's like, dang, like Shanahan is doing it again. He's self-destructing. He's his own worst enemy. Today, that wasn't going to happen. I don't know if it was my tweets or Jed York's leaving the stadium, but Shanahan was on fire. And that's why Jed needs to be really careful. You don't want to fire Jed. I mean, you don't want to fire Kyle and send him back to Atlanta with something to prove, because he'll make you look awful. Awful. Be happy that you still have Kyle and be grateful that you got me to bring out the best in Kyle. Because I really do believe that Kyle has self-destructive tendencies and he needs a coordinator of common sense, keep him on the right path and be like, bro, run the ball. What are you doing? He needs that from time to time because there's no one on this staff who will do that to him. So that's what I'm here for. So Shanny, we got a good little thing going on here. Hey, baby, what you say? You know what I'm saying? You understood what I'm saying there. Now let's talk about Robert Saleh, the guy that Niner fans hate, the guy that Niner fans blame every time they lose, because you can't blame Kyle. He's too important to the team. He's the head coach and the coordinator. If he falls apart, the whole operation falls apart. Also, you can't really criticize the quarterback either because he's so handsome and well paid. And again, there's no replacement for him. So Saleh, always, he's the guy the fan base says it's Saleh's fault. He's stupid. He never adjusts. He has all these great players. Well, actually, he's the guy with the unit that has all the injuries. Buckner's gone. D Ford ain't coming back anytime soon. Bosa's gone. Quan Alexander's gone. Maybe that's it. Richard Sherman's gone. That's what is that? 6? I can't count. 7? 11? All of the starters are gone except for Eric Armstead and freaking Fred Warner and Tart and Ward. And his defense is still the best unit on the team. It carried the Niners to the win today. The Niners offense was fine. It did nothing in the second half. the Niners defense kept coming out and stopping the Rams. Saleh right now has no pass rush. Remember what everyone said last year? Oh, yeah, he's pretty good, but we'll see what he does without Nick Bosa. You're seeing it. Robert Saleh is doing a better job this year than he did last year. Last year, he had the best defense in the NFL in terms of talent. I mean, he did a lot schematically, but didn't have to. His third down pressure blitz packages were actually phenomenal, but he didn't get any credit for him because everyone's like, well, I mean, it's just Bosa, even though it wasn't. This year, they should be giving up 24, 26, 30 points a game. They should be ranked like 20, 25 on defense. What are they ranked? It's a hell of a defense. I mean, they went up against an offense that was just slaughtering people. And an offense with a coach, Sean McVay, that a lot of people respect. Who's a better coach, Robert Saleh or Sean McVay? I think it's Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh just ate Sean McVay's lunch, dinner, hors d'oeuvres, dessert. He drank his port and his wine. He used his napkin. He sat in his seat. You know what I'm saying? That's what Saleh did to Sean McVay today. He was like, Sean, bring me a glass of water. I'm thirsty. I just ate your dinner. Bring me, but I would like some water with a little bit of fizzy water in it. And a slice of lime and 3 ice cubes. 3 ice cubes, please. And I'd like it now because I need something to wash down this delicious meal. I need something to wash this down. That's what Robert Saleh did to Sean McVay. If I were an owner looking at prospective coaches, I'd be looking real hard at Robert Saleh. Look what he's doing with a decimated defense. It's impressive. He's improving. Remember, it's his 4th year as a coordinator. He's not at the Vic Fangio. Like when Vic Fangio was here 10 years ago, I really felt that he was at the Bill Belichick level. He was great, phenomenal. But remember, Fangio's been a defensive coordinator since like the 80s. He's been around forever. And you improve with experience. I know it's a crazy concept. Robert Saleh's in year 4. And the leaps and bounds that he has taken in 4 years are unprecedented. And I still don't like how much flack he takes every week because the fan base refuses to put it on Kyle, Jed, or Jimmy. So it has to go to Saleh. Anytime a team is led by an offensive coach, the defensive coach is blamed for everything. But what's so fascinating about the Niners is since they've become a dominant team, the defense has been the best unit on the field. And the defensive coordinator also has been the scapegoat for every little thing that's gone wrong, which hasn't been much. So everyone, take some time, write Robert Saleh an apology note. You can send it to me and I'll forward it to him. Say, Robert, you were right. I was wrong. You're good. I'm bad. You're good looking. I'm not attractive. That's what you say. Because he's keeping this Niners team afloat. There was only so much Kyle Shanahan could do with the screens and the shovel passes before the offense fell apart and stopped moving the ball and scoring points. Defense brought this win home. Good for Robert Saleh. It must be tough for him to hear how much the Niner fans just hate his guts. And I mean, that doesn't affect how he coaches, but he just has so much on the line every week. Like if he's like Nick Mullins, if he has one bad game, one bad performance, everyone's like, you're out of here. You're freaking out of here, man. So I like seeing people rise up with their career at stake. It wasn't at stake for Saleh. Let's talk about the running backs. Raheem Mostert, I love Raheem Mostert. Hell of a player. What I saw from the press box was the Rams selling out to stop the run game with a 6-man front and an 8-man box. Hard to run against that. So the Niners averaged like 3.5 yards per carry, but they were working hard for those runs. Raheem Mostert runs so hard. So hard. Did he run that hard last year? I mean, he ran hard last year, but dude, Guy is constantly pulling people after contact. And it was interesting. He got 16 carries in the first half, and I'm thinking, like, man, be still my heart. Like, this is what I've always been pining for. And then he left the game with an ankle sprain, and we don't know if it's high ankle, low ankle, whatever. We'll find out tomorrow. But what's interesting is, like, maybe, Shanahan's not dumb. I always say that. Like, when he doesn't do common sense stuff, I'm like, what is going on here? Because you're no dummy. You're a very smart guy. What is the deal? Why do you not give Mostert more than 10 touches a game? Like, this is dumb. But you're not dumb. And I think what we're seeing is Shanahan, there might be some concern internally in the organization about Raheem Mostert's durability. I mean, he's had a knee issue last year. He had a knee issue this year, an ankle issue this year. He was a backup running back in college. He was a practice squad guy early in his career. He's never been a guy who's like ran the ball 250 times in a year. He's always been a light workload dude. And now he's so good. The Niners almost kind of have to give him 20 carries a game. But if you do, he breaks, or he might. So that's something to watch. So I don't even know if he's going to play next week. So Mostert leaves. The Niners offense falls apart. You saw that, right? Kittle's the best player on the team and the leader. But Mostert is the MVP of the offense. When he's on the field getting the ball, hard to beat the Niners. When he's not on the field, their offense is terrible. It stinks. Now, with a caveat, they bring in Jerick McKinnon. God love him. The guy's been through a ton. He missed 2 seasons. He come back. He runs so hard. He's not afraid of contact. He sticks his head down. He just doesn't have the juice and explosion he had before he tore his ACL. I'm sorry. He doesn't. He doesn't seem to hit the line of scrimmage with that much velocity. So they didn't play him that much. He got his opportunity. He didn't run that well. I shouldn't give myself credit for this. During the game, the Niners offense was sputtering. People were like, yo, what do the Niners need to do to get this going? I said, put in JaMychal Hasty. Boom, 5 minutes later, he's in the game. Kyle Shanahan really did a good job following my advice. I almost feel like he was on the sideline checking his phone between series slyly. You know what I'm saying? Like, pretending he's not looking. You know how kids do in class where you're kind of like, I think that's what he did. Hasty came in, and you could see Hasty has a level of juice and explosion that McKinnon doesn't. A 1-2 punch of Mostert and Hasty is good. So, again, you're welcome, 49ers fans. I could have just texted Shanahan, but I think it's better to do it in tweet form and put a little public pressure on him. Right? Okay. DBs. Let's talk about the Niners DBs because it was the biggest weakness on the team. It's the reason they lost last week because of Brian Allen. I've been saying for years the Niners need to draft corners. They don't address the position. They had no pass rush today. We'll get to that in a minute. Kinlaw does nothing. Armstead does nothing. Kerry Hyder plays hard. Jason Verrett and Emmanuel Mosley were on their own. They had to cover, and they were in man-to-man coverage a lot, and they were great. With the exception of the one deep touchdown pass Mosley gave up at the end, they were great. Verrett in particular. Verrett is playing like he played 5 years ago. He's playing like it's the Obama administration. You know? He's playing like pre-COVID. Who is this guy? Imagine if they had him in the Super Bowl playing like that. Imagine if they had him the last couple of years. It's the best cornerback play the Niners have had in a very long time. Nothing against Richard Sherman, but he can't cover man-to-man like that. He can't. He makes Robert Saleh, Verrett, he makes Robert Saleh so much better. When Sherman was on the field, Saleh could just call cover 3 and cover 4. That's it. Anytime he called man-to-man coverage, he'd hold his breath because of Sherman. Now Sherman's gone, Verrett's on the field, and Saleh can call whatever the hell he wants. Calls a lot of man coverage now. You notice that? Because of Verrett. And Goff's in the pocket holding it. No one's open. Now, Mosley gave up that touchdown. I still think he's a good player, man. I still think with the exception of that touchdown and the long catch he gave up in the Super Bowl, he's basically been lights out. So now the Niners have two corners. And the point, I wouldn't be surprised if Richard Sherman just stays on IR for a while. I don't think there's anyone in the Niners organization be like, hey, Richard, we really need you right now, bro. Bro. We need you, bro. No. Take your time, Richard. Make sure that calf is healthy. Make doubly sure. Double check that. And then spend another couple weeks out. Also, from Sherman's perspective, he's not going to be on this team next year. It's a free agent. Why rush back and potentially tear an Achilles or a calf and then really end your career? I don't know if we're going to see Sherman for a while or ever again, which is okay. I think they're better without him. They can do more on defense. And this Jason Verrett, look, I don't know if he's going to stay healthy. But if he does, this team's going to be dangerous. You talk D-line for a second. I think we all want Javon Kinlaw to do well. We all want to say good things about him. He's just not an impact player right now. He might flash a couple of plays against the run or get some pressure once in a while, get into the pocket. He's just not an impact player. He's not a playmaker. I'm not sure he's worth a first-round pick. Solid defensive tackle, but you can get solid defensive tackles later. They were going against a quarterback who can't move, and they couldn't really – I mean, the Niners shut him down with their defensive backfield, not with their pass rush. So Javon Kinlaw playing well for a rookie, not playing like a first-round pick. It would be nice to see him pick it up a little bit. Eric Armstead, I don't know if he played, man. Maybe it's my fault that Eric Armstead all of a sudden looks like he's going through the motions, because the first few weeks of the season he was playing very hard. Not playing smart, but playing very hard. He kept getting pressure and flushing quarterbacks out of the pocket, which was counterproductive. And I really got on him, and he took it to heart. He seemed to take it personal. And ever since then, it seems like he's just kind of rushing the quarterback without trying to sack the quarterback. That's not working too good either, Eric. I'm sorry. Maybe I gave you the wrong advice, man. Go play hard, because whatever you're doing the last couple of weeks is like, I don't know, man. What is that? Like, go get a sack. I give you permission. My bad. Sorry. Again, I gave myself an A+ in the grades, but I need to a couple of things. I'm gonna dock myself a half grade for Armstead, because that's on me. As the master psychological manipulator, I think I took the aggression out of him. And then Emmanuel Mosley, he gave up that touchdown catch about 5 minutes after I tweeted that he's been just lights out for the Niners. So I jinxed him. So I did give myself an A+. I'm going to have to knock it down to an A- for those two reasons. So I take full responsibility for Eric Armstead, but that's just the leader I am. You know, even if it weren't my fault about Eric Armstead, I'm going to be out in front being like, Eric, it's on me. It's on me, Eric, because that's just the kind of leader I am. Let's talk offensive line real quick, and then future outlet, and then I'm driving home. Offensive line real quick. They stepped up, but again, they were put in a position to succeed as much as Jimmy was. Shanahan was masterful in both areas. All those quick shovel passes, screen passes, runs to the edge, jet sweeps, reverses, tosses, all made the 49ers offensive line job much better. Not a lot of straight dropbacks, not a lot of passive pass protection for long periods of time. Like, pass protect for a second and a half. That's what Shanahan asked him to do. Run block a lot, and it worked. So, Mike McGlinchey, I know you're really feeling like you stepped up and you're a good player again. You should just thank Kyle. Go over, find Kyle before he leaves the facility, shake his hand, bring him a donut. Something nice, because you owe him. Trent Williams, you too. I don't know why Kyle Shanahan was exposing his offensive line's inefficiencies in pass protection and exposing his quarterback so much the last few weeks. Maybe Shanahan was just bored. But he was on fire tonight, and he made all those offensive linemen look good. And the key point, going into the game, I think a reason, if you picked against the Niners, which I didn't, if you picked the Rams, you're thinking, well, the Niners have the worst offensive line in the league. They're going against Aaron Donald. He just sacked Alex Smith 4 times. What's going to happen? Like Jimmy Garoppolo's going to get killed. That didn't happen. Aaron Donald was not in the game. You thought you didn't see Eric Armstead? You really didn't see Aaron Donald. 2 tackles, no sacks. That's impressive. For Kyle Shanahan to be able to do all the stuff that he did and neutralize Aaron Donald, that's an A. That's an A performance. Took him out of the game. Wore him out. Made him a non-factor as a pass rusher by running him around side to side all game. Niners getting major props for that. Daniel Brunskill owns Aaron Donald. Say what you will about Daniel Brunskill. He don't lose against Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald might be a future Hall of Famer and reigning Defensive Player of the Year, or one of the, I don't know if he won last year, but he's just no Daniel Brunskill, I guess. So something for him to work on, something for him to attain, to achieve the Daniel Brunskill level. All right, final thing. So I was prepared to come out here and be like, well, season's over, 2-4. It was fun. The Niners weren't prepared. Let's see what happens. Now they're 3-3. Season isn't over. Niners ain't dead, baby. They ain't dead yet. So they're 3-3, and now they're going to New England, and New England doesn't look good at all. They just lost to the Broncos, who stink. The Niners should be favored on the road next week. I know I'm picking them, I think. Say what you want about Jimmy Garoppolo. He's better than Cam Newton. The Patriots would take Jimmy Garoppolo back in a heartbeat right now. I bet you Jimmy's trade value just went up. Probably back up to a second. So, yeah, they should win next week. They're going to be 4-3. They're better than the Rams. I believe they're better than the Cardinals. They gave that game away. They should be 5-0 right now, but they're not. They're a humble 3-3. They should be 4-3 after next week. Then they'll have a second road game in a row against Seattle. Probably lose that, but then they're 4-4. This season isn't over. The Packers don't look that great. They got their butts kicked today. Niners can beat the Packers. As long as they play like this, they can beat lots of teams. If they go back to the game plans from week 1 through 5, they'll lose to every team they play. But we can see they still are a very talented, very well-coached team when I tell them to be, when I motivate them. So, guys, here's my pledge to you. They're 3-3. It's going to take my best effort for them to squeak into the playoffs. So I promise that even though I don't root for the 49ers, don't work for the 49ers, not getting paid by the 49ers, I will do everything in my power to make sure that the 49ers hate my guts and listen to everything that I say and play hard just to spite me. Just so they can go on Twitter at the end and be like, see, Grant Cohn was wrong. I can do that. That is my pledge to each and every 49ers fan. I got you. I will work hard to get under every player's skin, to let them know that they're not that good, to hold them accountable, to tell Jed, sit down and watch the freaking game. Watch the team that was gifted to you, that you didn't buy, you didn't earn. It was like a Christmas present. Watch it. Enjoy it. That was me. So I will continue doing what I do. I'm going to keep rocking and rolling because I think I can help people. I'm going to keep rocking and rolling. What's that from? You don't know. You guys don't watch Boogie Nights like that. You guys don't watch Boogie Nights like that. You know about that Dirk Diggler like that. You know about Dirk Diggler. I just want a name that's powerful, a name that's so sharp it cuts glass, Dirk Diggler. It's a good movie. It's quotable. I need to go home. I'm losing it. Brock Landers. I love Boogie Nights. If you haven't seen Boogie Nights, go watch Boogie Nights. If you were born in 1998, that movie came out in 1997 and you missed it. So go watch it. Vish, you have not seen Boogie Nights. You might not be old enough to watch it, though. There's a lot of risque scenes, and you might want to wait till you're about 23, 24 to watch Boogie Nights. I don't know. Your parents might not want you to watch it. I mean, I know they don't want you to be a sports writer. So if they're hesitant to let you wade into the wide world of sports, you might not be ready for Roller Girl. I don't know. So, but if you are born, if you have seen it, If you're 29, I highly recommend watching Boogie Nights. Monday with Vish tomorrow for sure. We'll be on at 11. I would like to give a special shout out to my dog. He dropped a pass, but what are you gonna do? He's still my dog. You know, I don't want him to know that. Unconditional love. That's how dogs are. Dog to dog. You know what I'm saying? That's what DMX told me. It's my dog. You can't just bail on your dog because he dropped one pass. I mean, that's your dog. Dog. All right, guys. I'm gonna let you go to bed. I'm gonna drive home now. But I accept all of your gratitude. I know you guys really appreciate how much work I put in this week, and you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome, and I'll think about doing it again next week. I'll think about it. Have a good one.